Hey everybody, welcome to
GeekStorm.
Goodness. My name's Sean Hilton, owner of
No
Comics
lead up, no
Cube,
foreplay.
founder of KokomoCon, which just happens to be taking place
jump in
on
there.
October, Saturday the 13th, just under 30 days from now. An exciting thing of action, adventure,
Don't say it.
all those wonderful
You
things.
forgot romance.
Well,
There could be romance.
I
You don't
try
know.
to keep the romance out of the KokomoCon.
You ever do
now.
speed dating? You gotta do speed
Man,
dating.
I don't.
Speed dating.
It could be scary.
You don't have to participate. You get the Gary Owen job. You just stand over there and
Switch.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. I'm joined today with my good friend Mike Allen Harrison,
Mike,
who's
it doesn't flow.
is that your-
It's very clunky.
Michael Allen
There we
Harrison.
go. Throw the Michael. If you're gonna
Sorry.
be all official. Like I'm in trouble.
So, I want to take a few minutes because one of the greatest celebrities of all time, Burt Reynolds, has passed away. One of my personal heroes.
Yes.
Somebody who I won't. You know what? We do a lot of jokes. This is absolutely serious.
I know.
I have based my mustache on Tom Selleck, Burt Reynolds, and somewhat Sam Elliott when I let it go a little bit. Those are the three mustaches. That is the mustache holy trinity.
Wow.
And one of those has passed away.
What was the third one? Selleck?
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
Sam
gotcha.
Elliott's got like a bigger, droopy,
Well, I know, yeah.
like beer catcher kind of
Right.
strainer
Right.
mustache.
What about Wilford Brimley? I see that.
It's a
I'll be honest.
little too much, So, and plus, let's face it, those other three guys, they're just badass.
Yeah.
All three of those guys, if you think about it, could have played Han Solo.
Sure.
So he passed away. I believe natural causes, nothing weird. I mean,
was old.
And the last couple times you've seen him on interviews, and
still
other
working.
things, working right up until the day he died.
Yeah.
He had just landed a role in a Quentin Tarantino flick, and I believe he's got something coming out that's semi-autobiographical.
Right.
With one of those things where it's not him.
Right.
But the role he's playing is so close to him that it might as well have been him, I'm going to guess. So eager to see that. Bummed that we're not going to see the Quentin Tarantino thing with him. But obviously well known for us in particular, both have a love for Smokey and the Bandit.
Absolutely.
And Cannonball Run.
Absolutely.
Stroker Ace?
Hooper.
Hooper's your show.
Yeah.
All right, I got to admit, I didn't really like Ace that much myself.
I never saw
That's the
Stroker
one.
Ace.
It's worth seeing just
You want one eye?
as a part of that.
Jim Neighbors. Can't stand him.
Really?
Yeah.
The voice of the Indianapolis 500?
Well, yes, sure.
Or was, I believe, for years.
He always sang Back Home Again in Indiana, but
So him and Dom DeLuise are finally reunited. Hopefully,
he is slapping Dom DeLuise in
And I
heaven.
believe it's Snowman. I think
Hell,
Snowman
depending on
passed
what-
away too.
depending on who?
Snowman.
Oh yeah, Jerry Reed's passed
So
away, sure.
I saw one great little political cartoon that's like got Burt Reynolds and Snowman together. All right, so St. Peter needs.
Right. I saw one where he's
Jumping the gates?
jumping the gates
So
as if to assume he would actually get to go to heaven.
get to go. Oh.
He might. I don't know.
So another thing that's barely related, but in an interview several years ago, they were talking, and he mentioned that Sally Field was like his one great love that he let go away.
And never married her.
But Sally Field has just come out and said she has like an autobiography coming out, and this just happened right after Bert's death.
Right.
Said she's really glad that he won't get to read it because she thinks it would have hurt him. So I got some feeling that there's going to be some dirt.
Yeah.
That's
Or just
gonna
she
be a
may have
little
just
rough.
been voicing how she actually felt as far as how he treated her too. You don't know that.
Sure.
That might be the
I mean,
thing.
That was during the time of
that
his
was
super
said.
popularity.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of drinking and drug uses.
There was a 5-year stretch in which he was the highest paid actor in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Which is
like
pretty
up to
amazing.
82, something like that.
Yeah, and I just remember, I mean, back in the, I don't want to say heyday of HBO because really HBO TV is the heyday right now, but back when movies left the theater and you didn't see them again until they hit HBO, Cannonball Run, Smokey and the Bandit, Hooper, those are all, I watched those so many times on HBO, so many times. He's iconic, there's no doubt about it.
I don't know if that's germane to our thing we're talking about.
The Germans got nothing to do with it!
So, with that, one last note, AMC, I believe it's AMC, is going to be bringing back Smokey and the Bandit to
Right.
like 900 theaters
Right.
for a short time. Is it this weekend or next weekend?
I don't know the answer to that.
So look it up if you really want to see it. It's coming back to some theaters. I want to say Marion is probably the closest that we're going to get. And I might, because you and me had actually talked about, like last year it was replaying.
Yeah.
And we ended up missing it, and I really wanted to see that.
Well, if we go, we'll have to stop at the local Choke and Puke and
All right, on other big news, and this one kind of broke the geek internet.
Sure.
Henry Cavill is out as Superman.
As far as we know.
Was pulled back as being
We don't know.
in negotiations. Then somebody floated Michael B. Jordan as replacing him,
I don't know.
which then left to other people just losing their minds,
Right.
which led to me going, people, they only floated that out there so that you would lose your minds.
Right.
There was no way, I don't believe that Michael B. Jordan, who I love, was ever going to take that role anyway, because at this point, I'm sure he's holding out for more Marvel money. You know, it's like, hey, listen, I did pretty well for you on this last one.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm hearing now that he is out. Now, this all stemmed from the fact that they wanted him to do a cameo in the new Shazam flick, which is
Correct.
supposed to be out like early next year, I want to say.
Not very long. Pretty soon.
They're pushing it because we're just seeing like production pieces now. So he doesn't want to do that. Obviously, there was some problems with the
Not that he didn't want to do it. He couldn't do it.
because
Scheduling.
of and then same problem happened because of Mission Impossible. That's why we ended up with the infamous digital mustache on Superman kind of a thing. Is he too big for the part?
Tell me what you mean by
Is
that.
Henry Cavill now outgrown Superman?
Oh,
Even if he was available, is he now too good, too big a star to keep playing this part?
No.
No?
He's never even carried a movie by himself yet, other than Man of Steel, Man from U.N.C.L.E., which was not a huge hit, but I really liked a lot.
Did you? Those had Lone Ranger in it, right?
It did. Who is the most likely Armie Hammer, the most likely replacement for Cavill as Superman, but he's not putting out 2 movies a year, one movie a year. He's other than the DC stuff and Man from U.N.C.L.E. I don't know. I can't think of another Henry Cavill movie.
Mission Impossible.
Okay, he was in that, but again, he didn't carry. It wasn't his.
No.
He was a bad guy or whatever it was. So he's making money and he's a working actor, absolutely. And I tell you what, he'd be a great fit for, which is another rumor, or I won't say rumor. Captain Britain.
I love Captain Britain.
Okay, so Pinewood Studios. Number one, Pinewood Studios that does everything over in London. They opened a branch in Atlanta.
What?
Because they do so much. They built studios in Atlanta.
I didn't know that.
They do so much filming in Atlanta. Marvel does,
Yeah.
Disney does, and other Walking Dead.
Mine was
lots
where
of
a
TV.
bunch of the Star Wars stuff
Oh, yeah,
was done.
absolutely,
and
yeah.
Other really big set pieces
So
they've handled.
booked for a particular time, and I don't know off the top of my head know the timeline. Is Disney under the name Captain Britain, okay? And also booked during that same time is Guy Ritchie, which would be to me an awesome fit with a British actor, and I think he would be a great Captain Britain. He's got
Cavill?
yeah, Cavill's
Really?
he's British anyway, and I think he'd be great. The thing is, I don't know who's going to replace him because Cavill. I really like his Superman. I really like his Clark Kent, and you could say you didn't like that character on the screen, but that's the way the director wanted it, and that's the way the writer wanted it. And when he finally became, at the end of Justice League, when he finally became like okay Superman, like everything's not so dark and dire Superman, the weight of the world is on my shoulders, then I think that's maybe the one that people like the most. But I thought Man of Steel was a really good movie. Other than way too much fighting, I thought Man of Steel was great.
Unfortunately, I think Cavill suffers from that direction. I think he suffered from that script. Honestly, I don't think he's a huge loss myself. Yes, I think he did an adequate job, but at this point, with how badly those DC movies come across, an adequate job is enough to get you an Oscar nomination and within that company. They're just so horrifically bad on some of it.
The only DC actor that is safe as far as killing a franchise if she left is Gal Gadot. I think it would be bad if she left and they wouldn't be able to do Wonder Woman for quite a while. Anybody else is replaceable to me. Just
I
from
can see. I
a-
mean,
just from a
obviously
fan.
with Batman, they're already lining up to do it. So this might be a good time to do the Exodus. Let's face it, none of these DC flicks have caught on in the shared universe idea. Even with the Justice League, nobody. Okay, I won't say nobody. There obviously somebody loved it. For somebody, it was a great film. For somebody, it was an early experience, and they're going to enjoy that. But I think for more seasoned moviegoers who are a little more critical, it's a pile of crap. It's really poorly put together. It's uneven on all fronts, from digital effects to acting to story. to just everything is, except for the music. The music is about the only thing that movie's got going for it. So at this point, if they were to implode the DC universe and just come out and say, hey, whoa, we're sorry. Let's try again. You know what? Let's just give it another shot. And
That's what they should have done in the first place.
I think that the fans are probably more than happy to hear about new casting and all of this stuff, and to do it right. We got Aquaman coming up, so we'll see how that goes. I guess some reviews are starting to float out there about that as well, and it's supposedly a big mess, but at least it's a big fun mess.
Yeah, the ones I heard on Aquaman were that it was good. It wasn't great, but it was good.
You know?
So
Well, at this point, they've got to accept that as being.
They really do.
Maybe just as
They're
good as
they're
we're
really
gonna
trying
get.
not to get hit in the face. That's I think that's their goal right now. They
Plus,
just need
Jason Momoa. I enjoy Jason Momoa when he's on a talk show or anything of that nature. He's got a great personality. He's got great charisma. But I haven't seen that translated into amazing thespian chops. You know, at this point, I need a Dave Bautista, Jason Momoa buddy thing, and just to see what happens, because I think those two together,
Sure.
That could be fun.
What was that movie in the '80s with the twin bodybuilders that they had their own movie and I can't think of the name of it.
Yes, but I know what you're talking about.
It wasn't Double Dragon.
No,
It was something
that
silly
was a
like
video
that.
game.
Yeah, but it was these twin bodybuilders and so
Wow.
they'd be funny if they did that, something like that.
Huh?
Anyway, Momoa's a great guy.
It comes across great, and then the fact that he's married to, well, you know,
Lisa
Denise,
Bonet.
you know, yeah. So you say Denise from the Cosby Show or whatever it was is just kind of weird to me. So, and to hear him talk about it, it's like he won the lottery.
Oh, yeah.
He is over the
That's great.
hill, crazy Tom Cruise jumping up and down on Oprah's
Some people love their
sofa.
wives. That's really hard for you to
So,
believe, I guess. I don't know. I'll talk to Chris about it later.
I don't know. I've only ever had the one, Mike.
Oh, that might be the funniest thing you've ever said. Good for you. Well done.
Hey, what else you got on your list?
That was a well-crafted joke. You got the better of that exchange. But, whatever. What else? I don't know. I don't even know this.
I showed up like 3 minutes ago.
It was good. It was good. Hey, did you see the trailer for Sabrina?
I didn't. I saw just an actual thumbnail JPEG on the screen. Rumors been going around for a while that they want to do this in the Archie style of the new TV show, where it's going to be dark and gritty.
Right.
And they had recently done in the last 2, maybe even 3 years, a comic book before they kind of redid all the Archie stuff
Right.
of a really dark, almost EC Comics version of Sabrina. So. Is that what tell us about? Did you see the trailer?
I did see it, and this is on Netflix too, so it's definitely gonna be more adult.
Well, that's awesome.
And basically, it was a teaser, not a trailer necessarily, but it does come out mid to late October, so it's not far away.
So it's
But it was just very dark, kind of
less than a month away.
chanting in the background and looked ritualistic and stuff like that, and it looked very quality looked good and everything.
Do we know who Sabrina is?
I've never seen her before.
Okay.
She might be somebody that crowd might know, but I don't know who she is.
I don't know either, but I'm looking forward to it. Again, Netflix, man.
Right.
Now, do we think this is a 100% Netflix original, or is it somebody else made it and they're bringing it to Netflix?
Don't know the answer to that.
I'm gonna have to assume it's probably a Netflix original,
Yeah.
just because it's such a bigger name, and
Yeah.
they get a lot of the European and a lot of other country stuff slap their name on it, and whereas it's original. It turns out it wasn't. They just happened to bring it over to the States. So I'll be interested to see with that. Plus, it'll be interesting to see if there's any possibility of a Sabrina Archie crossover, being it's not only different channels, but this is different platforms.
Yeah.
So that could be pretty exciting.
And CW does have a deal with Netflix, so it's very possible. And right now, anything that comes off in CW 2 weeks after the season is over, it's on Netflix. You don't have to wait a year.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
that's a pretty good working relationship. So
Yeah.
there's a chance that somebody pops over. Jughead's like, "Hey, Sabrina, we could use some help."
I
And
don't,
she's like, blah 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 blah.
I watched the first few episodes of Riverdale, but I just couldn't get into it. But it's got a real mystery vibe to it, like who did it.
I watched the first one,
Oh,
and it was. I watched first episode, not the
gotcha.
first season.
Right.
Watched the first episode, and it was okay. Chris is now finally like, "Hey, do you want to watch that?" And I'm like, "Hey, there's like 50 other things now." That's how quickly the stuff kind of piles up. So, we finished the Jack Ryan TV show, and we enjoyed that.
Good.
So,
I've watched a few of those. I haven't got back to it yet, but I will.
it was a good one to knock out. It was 8 episodes, and I enjoyed the Jack Ryan character when it's not portrayed by Harrison Ford. So,
I just finished Iron Fist season 2.
how was it?
It was much better than Iron Fist season 1, but that's not a
Didn't take much.
not a high bar. But still pretty good. He's much better. He's
Did he master Tai Chi, or do we think he can do some Kung Fu now?
he does a little bit better kung fu. The real star of the show is the actress who plays Colleen Wing.
She was great in the first
She and Misty Knight are really steal the show for me, and
Really?
especially the second half. And the
Do
second
they,
half,
do they team up?
oh yeah, they're in it quite a bit, and they even talk a little bit about Daughters of the Dragon type of stuff. So we still might see that. Misty's got her robo arm and everything, and
It doesn't look too silly.
no, you barely see. She's wearing clothes all the time, so all you usually see is this right here.
Gloves kind of thing.
But the action was much better. The action, there's a scene in a tattoo shop with Misty and Colleen and like 3
Bad dudes?
chicks.
Oh. Are they bad chicks?
They're they're excellent martial artists.
Okay.
The Crane Daughters.
The Crane Daughters.
There you go.
Okay.
And that's probably the best fight scene I've seen in the Netflix Marvel Universe since the hotel or the hallway scene with Daredevil in
Daredevil
season 1.
season 1.
It's not as good as that because that was just an amazing thing, but certainly the best since then. And it was mostly all Colleen. This is what Misty does: king, 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 swords, king. That's
She has an arm.
No, she's got an arm. And she hits things once
She
in a
can
while.
crush people.
She hits things once in a while.
Like grab your arm and just
Right.
turn it to powder. And,
Yeah,
You know.
she did eventually punch through a cement wall. Eventually.
Okay.
Anyway,
It took her a minute to catch up.
Yeah, and the last 2 episodes of this season were great.
Okay.
And stuff happened.
Costume?
No,
He's still not in costume.
you see the masks.
Okay.
And at the very last episode, they allude to the picture I showed you the one time in the Immortal Iron Fist with the World War II guy with the pistols.
Randall.
They show those pistols at the end.
Oh, that's cool.
But it gets real muddled in this Iron Fist legend. I saw a thing with the showrunner, and he said people are always coming up to me like, hey, he's supposed to be the best kung fu guy in the world, and his answer to that is, well, he will be. He's not yet, but he will be, and he spends a great deal of this whole season not being Iron Fist. When I say, I mean, he doesn't have the Iron Fist.
Gotcha.
And that's a long time for your title character not to be the main dude.
Character.
Yeah.
Well, that and I get the fact that as a creative talent, you want to build up to that.
Yeah.
But see, you started the very first episode with, "I am the master of."
Well, he didn't say master. He said, "I'm the immortal Iron Fist."
Yeah,
That's what he kept saying.
That means,
which he has it
in the
but-
comic
right.
books. That means that you are the baddest guy
Right.
in that entire land, and to say that he's not the best in the world, he has to build up to that. Who's better? I'm like,
Well, I don't
that's
Everybody
it's
that beats his butt.
It's one of those things where it's television versus comic books. In the comic books, we can keep coming up with an adversary of the month that whatever powers and blah blah blah. But in a TV show, we have to make our character so that he is beatable, so that we can see a human side and we can see that growth. And I think that's where we lose it. Plus, these Netflix shows are all really great dramas. They're all really great production qualities, but they're all really just a giant bummer. None of them are fun.
This one definitely, it's never really bothered me as much as it did in this season as how much they won't embrace the comic book names, They had Typhoid Mary. They just kept calling her Mary or kept calling her Walker. And
even Arrow learned from this. It
Right.
took him like 3 seasons
Right.
to finally, he's the vigilante,
Right.
to he's the Arrow,
The Hood.
to the Hood, to
Right.
finally he's Green Arrow.
Right.
It took him like 3 seasons just to name.
That was more than that.
From Starling City
Yeah.
to actually calling it Star City, which
Yeah.
is its name.
It's dumb.
So CW is finally catching on. They caught on a while back, and just Marvel just needs, these Netflix shows need to embrace their roots and quit trying to shove them in a dark closet and pretend they don't exist. That's not what the fans
They didn't
want.
name the Crane sisters. They didn't name Steel Serpent. They just called him by his given name, and that type of thing just...
See, this leads into another subject I want to talk
Go.
about, which is another big Netflix thing with Cavill.
Okay.
And that's this whole Witcher series.
I don't know anything about it.
Well, the Witcher series is like a multi-billion-dollar video game.
Okay.
It's had many different offshoots, expansions.
Multi-billion-dollar
Yeah, multi-billion.
for this game?
Oh yeah, the video games are making more money than
I know, but one
all these
game?
others. Well, because he's had like what, 6 games?
3 games
3 games.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
All right. Go ahead then.
The games are based
All right.
on novels.
Yeah.
I will holster my disbelief. But go ahead.
So Netflix is now going to do a series based on it. Henry
Right.
Cavill is set to star, which is supposedly the reason that he couldn't do the cameo in the Shazam.
Right.
Well, they're bringing over one of the other characters from the game. Now, all the Witcher stuff takes place, is it Poland? It's Eastern European, whichever one it is.
Is it modern?
No. This is your medieval-y kind of fantasy
Okay, go ahead.
setting. So they're bringing over this character. They're all, of course, because of this, they're the vast majority Caucasian, and they're recasting one of the main characters. And in the call sheet, they said just flat out, we are looking for an Asian or black female actress to play this Caucasian character. And then, of course, people lost their minds.
Right.
That's not true to the source material. That's this, it's that, social justice warriors, all this other stuff. They've lost the fans. That's the big thing I've seen is they've lost the fans.
Right.
Now, the fans did buy this video game, and they made it, however much money it made. I guess they're looking that up now, but it's a lot. But the point being is none of that matters, because even as the Netflix shows have just said by not using the names, nobody knows, because the vast majority of the fans aren't the ones that are going to be the ones that are making this a hit. Because if all the Walking Dead fans who read the comics were the only people that had watched that TV show,
Right.
it would have been canceled in 3 weeks.
Right.
So it is the average viewer
Right.
who doesn't know anything about that character that is going to make these series.
Right.
So when they make some of these changes, good or bad, and let me be very clear here, I have not played the game. I've been very interested in wanting to play it, but I've just never bothered to do it. But I don't believe that the fans are going to break it. The fans are just going to lose their minds and mouth off, and have zero effect at the very end of this thing, because the average goer just they don't know these characters.
I'm really
well
sick of
enough.
it. I'm really sick of this entire argument. Honestly, it's stupid. It's not representative of 2018. And if you are mad about and can't read and or buy a comic or a movie or a TV show because it doesn't have enough white people, I don't want you part of my fandom. I don't want you in my group of people. I would rather just know that a thing was made and made well, regardless of who's in it, and it be representative of the people that are in the country or that are in the world. I don't see why things, back when everything was created, every comic book, it was all white. That's just the way it was. I'm preaching the choir here, but I know, but it can't be that way today, because you look out the door, that's not the way things are.
You look up Comicsgate if you.
I read a bunch about it this
did you?
morning.
Okay.
It's stupid.
I try not to bring that up with
And
you.
it- and it's
'cause it
so-
just doesn't come to get something.
It's so it is so squeaky wheel gets the grease. It's
Sure.
it's the people who are vocal about it, and then news outlets like GeekStorm, news outlets will pick up on it and throw it out there like it's representative of the entire fandom, and it's just not. It's just clickbait.
They're very much they're the loudest. They're shouting from the tallest building.
Sorry, Mike. I know you're not like that. Oh wait, I have access to the page too. Never
I
mind.
find it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
I find that the other side goes the other way just as hard sometimes, and it doesn't make any sense. Sometimes there is change just to call it change, and that's not necessary. It would be better if it was more organic, and I do believe that. However, again, like with this Cersei character or whatever her name is from the Witcher thing, the vast majority of people who are going to watch this show, probably 90% of them, have never played the game. They're not going to have a clue
And how do
as
you
to who it was.
and not to poo-poo on it, but how do you make it more organic without just doing it? You cast people of color, you cast women. That's how you do it. You can't. If anybody's making a big deal about it, it's fans for sure. But as far as the people who make the thing, if we made a thing and decided to cast who we wanted to cast, regardless of who that was, that's up to us. But when Nick says, "Well, why'd you cast Mike in that? That's ridiculous." Okay, so, GeekStorm will pick that up. Fans don't think that they should have cast Mike. Well, it's not fans, it's Nick. Who cares what Nick thinks, for crying out loud?
It's still like they shouldn't have cast.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, they shouldn't have cast you. On the exact same note,
Yeah.
Peter Dinklage has come under fire.
What?
He is doing a movie about Hervé.
Vilches?
Yes. On HBO called Breakfast with Hervé.
I didn't know that.
And it turns out the fans lost their minds because they were whitewashing this character who's Filipino. Except Hervé's French.
Okay.
He definitely has darker features and darker hair.
Okay.
We happen to know some fine Filipino people.
Sure.
I could see where
They're
maybe
among the finest in the world.
They really are.
They really are.
But yeah, people went after him. Like, you know how they are on Twitch.
I know.
All this stuff. They got aggressive. They went after him. You know, they're brandishing their pitchforks and whatnot for somebody to finally go, hey, guys.
That's really aiming low.
He's not Filipino. He was never Filipino. He's French.
That's awful.
So now what's worse? The fact that you're trying to claim Peter Dinklage was taking the thing from him, or the fact that you were so incredibly racist that you took one look at this guy and you just assumed that he was Filipino.
That he's Filipino, right.
So, I mean, I've had that all my life. Not the Filipino part.
No. But.
So, yeah, but I mean, seriously, that popped up. I just saw that this
beloved.
morning.
Peter Dinklage is
well, it doesn't
beloved.
matter. Nobody. That's the thing is, nobody's safe. What's his name? Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
Just got called out.
For what?
He's on something, I think it was Reddit? He's on some social media thing.
Okay.
He was subscribed to some kind of blocking list. So basically, he's got social media on every platform you can think of.
Okay.
And there are chains of blocks.
Okay.
So like you could put together Mike's block, and you go after all the people who you think weren't, or are a problem and are trolls.
Okay.
Well, he subscribed to one of these, and it turned out that somebody on there, according to some other people, had targeted like transvestites or something of that nature.
Of some kind.
So, name a group. I don't know which one it was.
Right.
And then they he subscribed to it. So he's a bad guy.
Right.
And so now we have to go after him. And it's like, wait, listen, I like Will Wheaton, not like Will Wheaton, doesn't matter.
Right.
The fact is that Will Wheaton is a big proponent of supporting a lot of different groups.
That's just somebody that wants to complain about something.
It's just, that's everybody now, though.
Yeah.
Everybody's got that
Except
going
me and you.
on.
Why can't people be more like me and you?
You and me used to be pretty bad back in the day, dude. We've definitely mellowed with age.
What are you talking about?
We walked in some comic shows back when we were in our early 20s with some attitude.
Well, people need to get out of the way. We were first in line, and I don't care if you crowd around me or not.
I got there at 4:30 in the morning, and I was first in the door.
Right.
So.
Did you see the Captain Marvel pics? Did you talk about that last week? Captain Marvel. Brie Larson?
Yes, I'm sorry. I was thinking Shazam.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, of course we talked about that.
He's legally not Captain Marvel anymore.
It's true. Well, it's weird. He is. But you can't put it on logos. It's. I watched the whole thing about it. I've watched it several times. So yeah, Brie Larson.
Yes.
People are losing their minds.
Entertainment Weekly published 5 or 6 really, really good high-res pictures that were official pictures that were supposed to be published. So those are always much better than the paparazzi shots we get. So I was really happy with it. I liked everything there.
Yeah. How do you think she's going to destroy the Marvel Universe?
I don't know if she is.
What is she going to do to bring it low?
I don't know. Is
Is
that a thing?
Oh yeah. Well, the same group of people.
You mean the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Like she's gonna in our
just
world?
the fact that it's a female-driven movie is going to somehow destroy the world. No. I mean, it's going to break it.
She's going to be great. Did you ever watch Room?
No.
Oh, you need to watch that.
No.
She was amazing. It's just what she won her Academy Award for.
Okay. Costume-wise, though, the costume looked really sharp.
Oh, yeah.
It still looks like it's going to be a period piece from the 80s?
90s.
90s now,
Yes.
okay. So we're going to go into the 90s.
Yeah.
So Marvel, it's funny because people are like, well, they're gonna screw up the continuity. Marvel's been pretty good for the most part about how they've handled all their continuity.
You got one guy running it, and he knows what he's doing.
That's not to say that there isn't going to be something here or there, but, I mean, all Thanos got to do is snap his fingers and it all goes away.
Right.
So I'm not too worried about it. On Marvel movies, though.
Go.
Disney has rolled out the money to start the nomination process for Black Panther in September.
Right.
Going for it. Now, this is a pet peeve of mine.
Okay, go ahead.
Just the whole Oscar bait kind of movies, and then throwing out this thing where you're just flat out. And now it's so much more blatant in today's day and age where we have the information. It's like Disney is just flat out. They're going. It's a campaign.
But you run
a campaign.
That's been going on for years.
It has been, but I think it's always been kind of below the radar. Like the average person didn't know that the studios were, actively, basically running a political campaign to get their movies done. It makes sense now that we think about it.
Well, they're in the news,
but we were never into it.
The Oscars are in the news more this year than most years past, just because they were talking about and floating the idea. Actually, they just said we're going to do this. Have this new category, which was the popular movie category, which would encompass all these blockbusters that make all the monies that allow this little crappy movie to be made, that allow three billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, or whatever it was called, which was a fantastic movie, but allows that to be made because Black Panther, I don't know if the right studio, made $1 quadrillion. So, okay, we have some money.
It's also what keeps the Oscars on.
It is.
Because you know what? If I don't see the stars from those movies that I loved, then seeing the movie stars from the movie elite who watch these other kind of movies,
right?
And you know me, I do watch a lot of that stuff. I enjoy that stuff, but let's face it, when you or me decide to go to one of those, it's you and me in the audience with maybe 3 other people.
Right.
Same as Amazing Spider-Man 2, but that's not the point. So
the winner of Best Picture every year is not the Best Picture.
Oh no!
It's the movie that made the most money last year. That's the Best Picture. It just is. That's just the fact.
For years, I've used this example, and it was the year Hurt Locker won the Academy Award.
Yeah.
Because that was the same year that Avatar came out, and it was up against it, and they were like an ex-couple, James Cameron and an ex-wife or ex-girlfriend,
ex-wife,
and Hurt Locker won.
Yeah.
They beat him, and it was this and that. No, you see, Hurt Locker took home a little statue, and that's cool.
Yeah.
And I happen to remember it only because it was the year that Avatar came out.
Right.
And you know what Avatar took home?
All the money.
All the money in the world. All of it.
A gazillion.
They had to go out and print more money, Mike, so that this could have it.
We're out of money. Hey, can we get some more money?
Yeah, somebody get the printer press going up. Call Disney in 20 years or whatever the hell it was.
We owe James Cameron $3 billion. Can somebody go find
some more money? That's how it works. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for checking us out this week. I was Sean Hilton. This
where are
was
we
Mike
today?
Today we're at 111 East Sycamore in the heart of downtown Kokomo at the greatest toy store in the world.
It is, no question.
Kokomo Toys and Collectibles.
Oh my goodness.
Run by Amber and Todd Jordan, the finer folks you will never meet.
Fine people. They're always here on time.
They are. But they also, they do open an hour later than Comics Cubed and close an hour earlier than Comics Cubed.
That's weird.
Well, it's okay, because then all the people are waiting
banker's hours
to get here.
I thought you had crappy hours.
We let them into my store. So
okay, that's good for you.
Come on in.
That's good for
We're offering free coffee, donuts, some
Sure.
product.
I got you.
So, all right, everybody. Thanks for checking it out. Be groovy.